guys, Mrs. Sears here, and today we're going to start into Altered States of Consciousness, which is Chapter 7. So the first thing we need to do is take a look at what the difference is between consciousness and an altered state of consciousness. Consciousness is all of the feelings that you have when you are aware, whenever you are completely in tune with things, including your feelings, sensation, ideas, and perceptions. An altered state of consciousness is one where you lack complete awareness. It does not mean that you are unconscious. When you are unconscious, that means you are unresponsive to the environment. You can still respond to the environment in an altered state of consciousness, but you're not going to have the same level of awareness that you do when you're fully conscious. So we've all experienced an altered state of consciousness. The most common altered state of consciousness that we all definitely experience is sleep. Sleep is characterized by unresponsiveness to the environment and limited physical mobility, which is a little misleading because you are still responsive to the environment. You're just not as responsive as you are when you are awake. If you were unresponsive to the environment, things like alarm clocks, smoke alarms, someone breaking into your house, you would never notice those things. So the question is, why do we sleep? And the answer is, there's lots of answers. Some believe that we sleep because it's restorative. It lets you recharge your batteries. It's a time when the brain can recover from the exhaustion and stress of the day. Some believe that it's actually a form of primitive hibernation, much like how a bear doesn't have enough energy to make it through the entire year, so they sleep through the winter to conserve energy. We do it as a way of conserving energy as well. It's sort of like a mini hibernation that we engage in on a daily basis. Some believe that it is adaptive. If you go back to like our caveman days, yes, we are at the top of the food chain, but yes, we are also a delicious, tasty treat to certain animals. And those animals, generally speaking, have better senses than we do. Keener sense of vision, especially at night, better sense of smell. And so it was to our advantage to take that time when we would be most vulnerable, curl up in a cave somewhere, don't make a lot of noise, don't move around, don't attract attention, don't become someone's dinner. It also gives us a chance to clear our mind. It's a time to get rid of useless information. And some believe that it is a time in which we can dream. We'll talk more about that later. So there are several different stages of sleep, most of which you don't have to concern yourselves with. The first stage is just drifting. This is about 10 minutes long. This is the lightest level of sleep. You have uneven breathing. This is also whenever you can have that amazing sleep jerk feeling that happens when you think you're falling and you like kick yourself awake. The second stage of sleep, you're falling deeper into sleep. Your eyes, if someone were watching you or if you were watching someone sleep, which side note is creepy, your eyes start to roll slowly from side to side behind your eyelids. This lasts about 30 minutes. You then go into stage 3 sleep. From the outside, you can't really tell when someone enters into stage 3 sleep, but if you have them hooked up to monitoring devices, you would see that their brain waves start to become large amplitude delta waves. You do not need to concern yourselves with that. Stage 4 sleep is the deepest of all sleep. This lasts between 15 to 45 minutes. 45 minutes towards the beginning of your sleep, 15 minutes more towards the morning. This is the stage of sleep where it's very difficult to awaken someone. If you do awaken them, they'll feel very disconnected. This is also the time frame when many sleep disorders, which we'll talk about here momentarily, occur. Sleepwalking, bedwetting may occur during this time of sleep. The fifth stage is REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movements because, again, if you were watching someone sleep, you would see their eyes moving rapidly underneath their eyelids. You have high levels of brain activities. Your pulse and your breathing become irregular. Your hormones rise as if you were in the middle of like an intense emotional or physical activity. This is sometimes called active sleep because your large muscles, like your arms and legs and torso, have sleep paralysis going on. But your fingers, your toes, and your face are oftentimes twitching and twitching rather quickly. You repeat this cycle every 90 minutes. As the night progresses, the time in stage 4 sleep lessens and your time in REM sleep increases. At no point in time is the brain completely inactive. So the differences between stage 4 sleep and REM sleep are pretty critical, and they'll become especially critical when we talk about sleep disorders. Stage 4 sleep, you are able to move your large muscles. However, you cannot very easily be awakened, and if you are awakened, you will have no memory of what you were doing in your sleep at that point in time. During REM sleep, you have large muscle paralysis, so you cannot act out a dream. You can be easily awakened, and you will have memory of that dream when you are awakened. So, how much sleep do we really need? The amount of sleep we need depends on the individual and the stage of life. Yes, we talk about how most people need 8 hours of sleep. That's based on like adults in their early to mid 20s. As we progress through the life cycle, though, it changes. Infants need the most sleep. Infants will sleep up to about 16 hours a day, more so as newborns, about 16 hours a day by the time they reach 1. By the time you are a teenager, you need 10 to 11 hours of sleep a night, which I'm sure you guys find to be amusing because there's no way that you are getting that much sleep a night. But that's what you probably should have. It's not until you reach like grad school, like 23, 24, that you only need about 8 hours of sleep a night. The elderly only need about 5 hours of sleep a night. So that's why grandma's getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, eating lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning, eating dinner at 3 p.m., and then, doing the rest of her day. Because elderly people just flat out don't need as much sleep as the rest of us. No matter who you are, you need sleep for normal functioning. Again, some people may function better with only 6 hours of sleep. Some people may need 10 hours of sleep. But regardless, you absolutely need sleep. So what about sleep disorders? There are several different sleep disorders. One that we'll talk about is insomnia. Insomnia is the failure to get enough rest at night in order to feel as though you got rest the next day. This is different than a sleepless night. We all have sleepless nights. Insomnia is much more long-term, if you will. So someone who has insomnia finds that this is a persistent problem where they're only getting 1 to 2 hours of uninterrupted sleep a night. We know that we consider this to be a pretty serious problem because in North America, we'll spend over $500 million a year on different sleep remedies. Usually, insomnia is stress-related. You resolve the stress, you'll be able to resolve the insomnia. Another common sleep disorder is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea happens when you literally stop breathing during your sleep. This cessation in breathing can last anywhere from 20 seconds to 2 minutes and can be fatal. This is usually the result of a physical problem. It can be enlarged tonsils. Obesity is actually the number one reason for sleep apnea. So the thing with sleep apnea is usually someone doesn't realize that they aren't breathing in their sleep. They may think that they're getting 8 or more hours of uninterrupted sleep at night, yet they're still waking up feeling very groggy and irritable. About 12 million Americans are affected by sleep apnea. If the problem is physical, then the solution is physical as well. So if it's due to enlarged tonsils, you can have your tonsils removed. If it's due to obesity, the best course of action would, of course, be to lose weight. There are also several different appliances people can wear. One looks sort of like a mouth guard that causes your jaw to jut forward, which opens up the airway. And you can also use what's called a CPAP machine, which literally forces air into your lungs. So the other sleep disorder we'll talk about today is narcolepsy. Narcolepsy happens whenever someone suddenly falls asleep or feels very sleepy all day long. Extreme narcolepsy is when someone will fall asleep basically out of the blue. Most individuals do not have extreme narcolepsy. Most individuals with narcolepsy just feel very, very sleepy all day long. Narcolepsy can also be it also oftentimes appears in its severe form with cataplexy, which causes someone to fall asleep whenever they experience extreme emotion, especially laughter. This is a significant disorder for the individuals who have it. Their entire life is impacted by it. They cannot drive. It's not really safe for them to be alone in any capacity in their house. Like, you can't take a bath. What if you fall asleep in the tub? It's difficult to take a shower because you could fall and hurt yourself. So a lot of times these individuals cannot live a fully independent lifestyle. I have a video for you that I will also post. And again, I can see where at first you might think like, oh, it's kind of funny, but whenever you realize that this is how this gentleman lives his life, it really becomes like sad. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thanks.